We're going to have a look at similar shapes, but in a slightly harder context. So one of the styles of questions you will get is set up like this. And what we need to know is that there's some parallel lines there, and that can help us with it. So I'm going to just show you why that helps with a question like this. Because what we want to do is what we've done in previous questions where they're a little bit harder. We want to redraw the triangles. But before we do that, we want to know which angles are going to be the same and therefore which way round to draw them. So if I take you down here, what we have is the same diagram as above but with extra lines. So the red lines are the parallel lines, and we're going to see which angles would be the same. So if I highlight the angle at A, the red lines are parallel, and if we follow the blue line that crosses the parallel lines, we can use the alternate angle rule. So alternate angles are equal. So the angle there will be the same as the alternate angle here. So that's important to notice. I'm going to change to a different colour now. Let's go with the light blue. Now the angle here is going to be the same as the angle up here again, because the green line crosses the two red parallel lines, and these are therefore alternate, which means they're equal. And then finally, there's another angle we need to know is the same, and it's this angle here is the same as this angle here because they are vertically opposite. So those are the things we need to know. So because all of these angles are exactly the same, we know that these two triangles are similar. Now let's go back up to the top and start drawing this out. So I am going to draw my smaller triangle, which is A, E, D. I'm then going to draw my larger triangle, which is going to have D at the top. Now this is the important part, is knowing which angles are the same. Now let's remember this angle here would be the same as this angle here. So A and C are going to have the same angle, which makes them make sure I then write this the right way around. At this point, I need to label what I know. So I know that between A and D is 3 centimetres, between A and E is 2 centimetres, between D and B is 12 centimetres, and between B and C is 6 centimetres. So what I now have is a problem that's a little bit easier to solve. Sorry, my dodgy 6 centimetres. Okay, so I'm just going to move this across so we've got a bit more space. So we want to calculate DE, and we do it in the exact same way that we've done it before. So if I'm going from, if I want to go from DB to DE, then what I need to think about is how do I get from something we already know. So I'm going to go from my 6 centimetres to my 2 centimetres. So that's going to look like this. So I want to get to 2 centimetres, which means I need to divide by 6. Because that's where I've come from. So the scale factor for the enlargement, which is making this smaller here, because remember enlargements can make it smaller too, is going to be 2 divided by 6, which is 1/3. So if my scale factor is 1/3, that means to figure out DE, I need to do my 12 centimetres times by 1/3. Well, 1/3 of 12 is 4 centimetres. Okay, so that does that one. Now, if I change colour, we now want to find out what CD is. So I'm actually going to be looking at going in the opposite direction. So I want to be going from the smaller one to the larger one. So from AD to CD, which means this time for my scale factor, I'm actually going to be doing 6 divided by 3, which gets me 2. So for my scale factor, going from the smaller one to the bigger one, I get, sorry, completely wrong there. Let's start that again. There we go. Right, let's try my maths again. So I'm going from 2 to 6, which means I do 6 divided by 2. That's much better. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my scale factor is 3. Obviously that's true because if the other scale factor is a third, then 3 makes more sense. Now, if I want to work out CD like the question asked me, then I need to start with AD, which is 3 centimetres, and I times it by my scale factor 3, which means it will be 9 centimetres. And that is how you work out those style questions. So the important thing to do is to redraw them and think about which angles are the same, because most of the time when we make mistakes on these questions, it's because we're looking at the wrong side of the triangle, and you need to make sure you set them up perfectly first. So I hope that helps. Thank you.